Do you ever worry that your kids are spending too much time on their devices, playing games, and watching mindless videos? I'm Greta. On this channel, I share many of the digital resources that we use in our homeschool. Devices are an integral part of our daily lessons. And I'm going to show you how to set screen time limits on iPhones and iPads. So let's do it.
Go into Settings and choose Screen Time. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you can choose to share these settings across devices. I choose not to do that and to put it individually on each iPad in different ways. You do what works best for you and your family. So if you go all the way down to the bottom, you'll see that you can lock the screen time settings. Okay, so here's where you're going to choose a passcode. You can go in there later and change that. So it will pop up with this screen saying that you can set a password recovery way to get your passcode if you forget it. Here's where you enter your Apple ID and Apple ID password. Once you've done that and click done, it will take you back to this screen. And here's where you have the option to change your screen time passcode. You would tap that, enter your old passcode, and then enter a new one. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to take you to app and website activity. Enter in that passcode again. That passcode restricts anybody else from being able to change these settings. If they don't know the passcode, they cannot change the settings, they cannot unlock the apps. So here's where it'll pop up and tell you can turn on app and website activity so that you can see how much usage in different apps is being used each day or each week. Okay, so now that's on. So if you see at the top now, it'll start to show how long you've been in different apps. So I've been in settings for 56 seconds. It'll show that. Here, for some reason, it's coming back up saying lock the screen time settings again. I don't know if that's just an error with mine right now, but if you run into that, just set it back up again. If you don't have that selected, then these app limits aren't really going to work. So, well, they'll work, but there's a way around them if you don't have that. So select app limits, then add a limit. I'll just choose a couple for the sake of this as an example. You can expand the category. You can choose everything within a category. So let's say I say all entertainment and PBS Kids video. Let's say I want to put a 1 minute limit on those apps. I cannot select a 0 limit, but I can select 1 limit, and then it will block at the end of the limit. If you don't have that previous screen selected where you lock all app activity, then this block at end of limit will not show up. And then there's a way around it. So make sure that you've entered your passcode to lock it first, just like I showed you. And then make sure that this is selected, okay? It will block the app when the limit expires. So after this minute, it can't go back in. Let's say I want to also add a limit for PBS Kids games. Let's say I'll let them do that for 5 minutes, and then it'll block at the end of the limit. Add. So let's test something in the first category for 1 minute and see what happens. So let's go into PBS Kids video. Right here. That opened up just fine. It's 11:42. I'm going to open it back up and do a time lapse so that 11:43, we will see what happens. Now it's 11:43 and the time limit has been reached for that app. What you'll notice on your home screen is that the app is grayed out at the bottom. That means you will know, or your child will know, what apps are kind of off limits. If they tap it, it's going to pop up with this screen saying that they've reached the limit for PBS Kids video in this instance. They can ask for more time. they can, on their own, get 1 more minute. That is just the way that it's set up within the iPad. In total, that means that they're getting 2 minutes within the app before a passcode is needed. Again, I'm going to do a time lapse and then show you what happens at 11:45. See here, the app is now not grayed out again. So at 11:45, it'll be grayed out again and they won't be able to use it. It is 11:45. You see again that PBS Kids app is grayed out at the bottom. When you try to open it, ask for more time requires now that they get a screen time passcode. At that point, if they've done what they need to do, their responsibilities, their morning routine, whatever it is, then I will enter the screen time passcode. Here, there is the opportunity to approve it for 15 minutes, for an hour, or for all day. I might say approve for 15 minutes, and then this same screen time limit will come back up. Those settings can be applied differently to each app limit that you set. For instance, if I go into the PBS Kids game limit, maybe I'm going to say I want it for 5 minutes on Sunday and Monday, but on Tuesday, I'm going to put it back at the 1 limit. This is just for an example. Maybe a different day, they can have an hour of it, and a different day, 2 hours. So you can customize the time limits in each of these. So here it will say custom. And a notification will appear 5 minutes before this limit is reached. So when you customize the days, you can customize the time for each day. That may be useful to you. I don't use that functionality, but I just wanted to show it to you. You can also set limits for things that are not apps. I'm telling you this because we have a YouTube app limit set in our home. That's 5 minutes a day because their affirmations are part of their morning routine, and I want them to have access to certain videos that we use on YouTube for their affirmations. So they have a few minutes to go to get to that video and then to watch it. It's like 2 or 3 minutes long. And after that, the time limit will apply. There have been instances where one of my children decided, oh, there's an app limit on YouTube and I want to look on YouTube for whatever show. So they said, I'm smart. I know how to get to that on a website. So they decided to go to youtube.com, which is why I had to learn this functionality within the app limit function to also add a website to the app limit. Okay? Once I put that limit on, I realized it wasn't just YouTube that I needed to restrict, it was also Chrome. So that's in utilities, I set a limit for Chrome. Okay? However, there is no option to select Safari within here. I looked in other, it's not there. I looked in all the categories. Thankfully, I just swiped up one day a little bit too fast. If you just scroll up to the top, it comes up here. If you scroll up faster, a search bar appears at the top. There you can type in Safari and check it off. Add. These are all going to be set for 1 minute. Okay, here you see it comes up in categories, apps, and websites. When you go to the next step, it shows Safari. But if you're on the choose app screen, you don't see that it's chosen. Okay, just trust that it is. It will show up here, block at the end of 1 minute. Okay, so now we have 3 different apps set up, including browsers. We go over here, find Safari. It opens up just fine. It is 11:53. This will time out at 11:54, and we will get that same message. I'm going to do a time lapse so that you can see what it looks like at 11:54 when this times out. Here it is, 11:54. We've reached our limit on Safari. Ask for more time. Again, you can get 1 more minute as a freebie. And then at the end of this at 11:55, that's it. Here it is, 11:55, and we've reached our limit on Safari again. Ask for more time? Nope. They have to go to Mama now for me to enter the screen time passcode. Once I put that in, I can approve it for 15 minutes, for an hour, or all day. Now you know how easily you can manage your kids' screen time by setting app limits on their iPads. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or other topics you'd like to see me cover. If you found this video helpful, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Teaching the Trifecta for more tips on homeschooling.